We're beginning lesson 8. Until now, we saw that a lot of choice is not a good thing. It can even sometimes lead to depression. This is exactly how the writer begins the last section. Let's zoom in on it. In the section heading, the writer asks, what can be done? Let's see how the writer begins this section. We will zoom in on the first two sentences. The news I have reported is not good. We get what we say we want, only to discover that what we want does not satisfy us to the degree that we expect. So we're never happy. Some of you may have been wondering if the writer is against choice. So this is our next question. Does the author believe that choice should be eliminated? האם המחבר חושב שצריך לבטל את הבחירה, שלא תהיה בחירה בכלל? In our age of democracy, calling for elimination of choice is extreme, קיצוני. The writer probably does not say that. So let's read the text and see what the writer is actually talking about. Read paragraph 27 just until you find his answer. It's very clear in the text. You can do it quickly. Press pause and come back when you're ready. You're back. That was pretty clear. Let's see it in the text. Does all this mean that we would all be better off if our choices were severely restricted, מוגבל, even eliminated, מבוטל? I do not think so. So, we have an answer. Of course, it's no. That was too easy. So we have another question. Now, explain why the writer believes choice shouldn't be eliminated. Read the rest of paragraph 27, press pause, and come back when you're done. You're back. Let's continue with the text. The relation between choice and well-being is complicated. A life without significant choice would be unlivable. Unlivable, that you can't live like that. Let's see why. Being able to choose has enormous positive effects on us. If we go back to our question, explain why the writer believes choice shouldn't be eliminated, we could say that choice has a positive effect on us, or we can't live without choice, or anything along those lines. But the text continues, but only up to a point. This is the writer's main idea in the text. Notice how but is so important. Let's continue to see how the writer explains this contrast. As the number of choices we face increases, the psychological benefits we derive start to level off. כלומר שברמה מסוימת של בחירה, היתרונות הפסיכולוגיים של הבחירה מתמתנים. אנחנו מרגישים בהם פחות. So we're back to square one. Too much choice is not good. It can have a bad effect on us. Let's go back to the title. The writer asks, what can be done? So he will probably answer that in the text. Our question is, what is the writer's answer to the question, what can be done? Read paragraph 28. Tip: the writer will not offer a very specific solution. Only something very general that can help. Press pause and come back when you're done. You're back already. Let's see paragraph 28. Let's look for words that show us something that sounds like a solution. Can certainly take steps. This is an action. Such actions. Should bring its own rewards. This sounds promising. Let's now try to understand. But individuals, people, can certainly take steps to mitigate, למתן, choice-related distress. אנשים יכולים לקחת צעדים מסוימים כדי למתן את המצוקה. Such actions require practice, discipline, and perhaps a new way of thinking. כלומר, זה דורש אימון ומשמעת. But each should bring its own rewards. כלומר, כל אחד מהצעדים שננקוט יביא איתו את הפרס, את הגמול שלו. So, if we go back to our question, we see that this is what the writer says. We need to take steps to mitigate the stress, or we need to work on solutions, or something like that. The writer doesn't really give us the solution. He says we need to work on it. But I think the writer just wants us to be aware of the problem, to try to work towards less choice in our lives, because more will not make us happier. Maybe these are the steps the writer means. Remember, I'm sure some of you are sitting at home right now saying, hey, I should try some of those. So we already read the last paragraph in our skimming, remember? We saw that we needed to rethink society's worship of choice. And in the last sentence, let's zoom in on it, he spoke of assumptions that are deeply mistaken. We saw that the writer was very critical, ביקורתי. So let's sum up. נסכם. Let's see what the main idea of the text is. Question. What is the main idea of this text? Here we have some options, and you choose A, B, C, or D. Let's go over them now together. A, according to studies, abundant choice is accompanied by a general increase in well-being. B, research shows that although some choice is better than none, more is not always better than less. C, maximizers and satisficers behave differently when confronted with abundant choice. D, opportunity costs are a main reason for maximizers' difficulties with abundant choice. So, what do you say? If you need to think about it, press pause, use your dictionary, take your time. If not, then we will answer together. It's B, of course. Research shows that although some choice is better than none, more is not always better than less. Let's see why the others are wrong. A is wrong. Abundant choice is not connected to well-being. C is only one specific point that the writer shows in his study. It's an important one, but not the main point. D is also one specific point. It's one of the terms, munachim, that the writer uses to explain why people are not happy with their choices. So, we are ending our lesson. What did we learn? We learned that the writer thinks that choice should not be eliminated, and that choice can be good for us, but too much choice is not. We also learned that the writer offers some very general advice. We need to take steps to deal with too much choice. Maybe to limit, להגביל, some of it. How did we learn this? We learned this by reading the last section. Now, this isn't a new idea. We knew this already from the beginning of the text. Writers usually repeat the main idea in the last section as a summary, סיכום. We're finished reading the text. כל הכבוד.